Have you ever stopped to think about your phone? I mean, really think about it. It is jam-packed with apps from all these different companies, but somehow they all just work together. Your favorite travel app can pull flight data from 10 different airlines at once. How does all of this happen so seamlessly? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden language that makes it all possible.
Okay, so picture this. You open up a travel app. You type in Mogadishu to Nairobi, and in just a few seconds, boom, you've got real-time prices from Ethiopian Airlines, Turkish Airlines, Kenya Airways, all lined up on one screen. Now, that app doesn't own the airlines, right? So how in the world is it getting all that live information from so many different places so incredibly fast? The answer is a little three-letter acronym that is, and I'm not exaggerating, the absolute backbone of the modern internet, API. It stands for Application Programming Interface. And I know, that sounds super technical, but trust me, the idea is actually really simple. To get it, let's just forget about code for a minute and think about something we all understand: ordering food at a restaurant.
All right, let's dive into this analogy. Imagine you're in a restaurant, ready to order. This simple idea is the key to understanding how millions of apps talk to each other every single second. So first up, there's you, the customer. You're sitting at the table, you know what you want. Let's say it's a big plate of pasta. In the digital world, you are the application, like that travel app that needs some specific information.
Now, you don't just stand up and storm into the kitchen shouting your order, do you? Of course not. That would be total chaos. Instead, a professional comes to your table. The waiter. The waiter hands you a menu, a very specific list of what the kitchen can make and how you can ask for it. You place your order and the waiter writes it down perfectly. This waiter, that is the API.
So the waiter takes your specific, well-structured order, and where do they go? Straight to the kitchen. The kitchen is the other software system. It's the airline's booking server, or it's Google's giant map database. It's the place where the actual food, or in our case, the data, is prepared.
And finally, once the kitchen has prepared your order just the way you wanted it, who brings it back to your table? The waiter, of course. They deliver the finished meal, the pasta or the flight data, right to you. You never had to know how the kitchen worked, you didn't care about their recipes, you just needed a reliable waiter to handle all the communication.
And that right there is exactly what an API, an application programming interface, does. It's basically a rule book, a contract that lets two completely different programs talk to each other without either one needing to know the messy, complicated details of how the other one works. It's the ultimate digital middleman. Okay, that waiter analogy is super helpful, right? But what does an actual digital order look like when one app talks to another? Let's check out a real-world example, like a simple weather app.
Let's say you want to build a weather app. You're not going to launch your own satellites, right? No way. You're just going to use a weather company's API. The order your app sends to their server would look something just like this. It looks like a website link, but it's actually a very specific, carefully structured question.
So let's actually break this URL down, piece by piece. The endpoint is the specific address you're sending your request to. Think of it as the direct phone number for the weather department. The parameter is your actual question. Q equals Mogadishu means I want the weather for Mogadishu. And finally, the API key is your unique password that proves you have permission to ask. Now, when the weather server gets this request, it sends the information back. But it doesn't send, a pretty picture of a sun or some clouds. Nope. It sends back raw structured data in a format called JSON. It's basically just a neatly organized text file with labels like temperature and humidity that your app can instantly understand and then use to draw that beautiful display you see on your screen. Okay, so there's one little issue here. With an API, our app has to keep asking the server for new information over and over. Is there an update yet? How about now? This is called polling, and it's not very efficient. So what if the server could just call us the moment something new happens? And this is where the API's very clever cousin comes into play, the webhook. The difference is simple, but it is incredibly powerful. A standard API is a pull system. Your app has to constantly pull for new data. A webhook, on the other hand, is a push system. The server pushes the data to you automatically the instant an important event happens.
Let's go back to our food analogy. A standard API is like you calling the takeout place every 5 minutes asking, hey, is my food ready yet? Is it ready now? A webhook is like giving them your phone number and just saying, call me when it's done. You just set it up once and then you sit back and wait for the news to come to you. So much better, right? So we've got APIs for asking and webhooks for being told.
Okay, cool, but why does any of this really matter? Well, it turns out these two simple ideas are basically the glue holding our entire digital world together.
I mean, they enable literally everything. Integration? That's how a ride-sharing app can use Google Maps without having to build its own map of the entire planet. Efficiency? It means a small startup can use a payment API instead of spending years building a secure payment system from scratch. Automation, powered by Webhooks, is what sends you that instant notification the second a package is delivered. And all of this has created a massive API economy, where companies can build their entire business just by selling access to their data.
Let's make this super real with one last example, one you probably use all the time. You're at a shop. Use a service like EVC Plus or eDahab to pay. You tap your phone, and bam! Less than a second later, your phone buzzes with that confirmation SMS. How? How did it happen that fast?
Yep, that's a webhook right there. Your successful payment was the event, the food being ready. The payment system didn't wait around for the SMS system to ask what happened. It immediately called or pushed the transaction details over. No checking needed. It was automatic, event-driven, and lightning fast.
So from now on, when you're using your phone, start looking for these invisible messengers. When Instagram shows you a map in a post, you'll know that's an API. When your delivery app tracks the driver in real time, you'll know that's APIs and webhooks working together. You now know the secret language, the quiet, powerful system of waiters and phone calls that truly connects our entire digital world.